Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. A severe lawyer shortage is being blamed for blocking courts and straining our legal system. One vital justice organisation says they're struggling to hire, with graduates being snapped up quickly.
They do the important work defending those caught in our criminal justice system. But Legal Aid Tasmania says it's harder than ever to find lawyers.
The telling factor is with a number of recruitments, we're having to run them multiple times because we're not able to identify suitable people.
A lawyer shortage hitting particularly hard in the northwest and in criminal practice. It comes with private firms taking on less legal aid work.
Because of the lower fees. And so that's put a strain on legal aid because the in-house lawyers need to pick up more of the legal aid work.
We're willing to work with the legal fraternity to ensure sustainability of their service, but also support workforce development as well.
It's creating problems accessing justice and causing hold-ups in courts.
If we don't have representation, matters are being adjourned to seek representation, for example, or if you have a criminal lawyer who's got multiple matters across multiple courts.
Tasmania has the lowest rate of lawyers in the nation. Graduates are being snapped up quickly by firms here and on the mainland, according to the Law Society.
This year's graduating legal practice course saw almost 100% of those graduates employed. That's just unheard of.
As demand for the same pool of lawyers heats up, UTAS, the Law Society and Legal Aid are teaming up to try and find what the barriers to recruitment and retention are.
We're currently looking to launch an internship program with some of the graduates that are, rather than fifth year, looking back earlier to third and fourth year.
Keeping more Tasmanians at home and solving our shortage. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A Swansea couple found guilty of murdering their former son-in-law have started the process to appeal their sentence. For more on this, we're joined by reporter Victoria Eastoe, who's at the Supreme Court in Launceston. Victoria, Cedric and Nolene Jordan are trying to appeal their conviction.
They are, Kim. It comes after a mammoth 12-week trial ended in a guilty verdict last month. The jury found the pair shot Shane Jeffrey Barker at his Campbelltown home in 2009. Both were sentenced to 22 years in jail. It's believed they're appealing the conviction on 3 grounds, including the sentence was unreasonable. The Jordans appeared before Justice Stephen Escourt today, but Kim, don't expect a quick decision. The appeals process could take up to 4 months.
Okay, thank you very much there, Victoria. Well, shocked neighbours have described hearing loud bangs when a man critically injured himself attempting to light a fireplace in Kings Meadows. The dangerous mishap happened in front of 3 children who were also taken to hospital for treatment.
A firelighter workaround gone wrong. Crews converged on this Kings Meadows home last night after a man caused extensive burns to his face and body after pouring accelerant on an indoor fire to try to get it going.
Kind of like boom, 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 about 5 times like that.
Neighbour Graham Smith was in his shed when he heard the explosion.
I actually thought a possum had jumped on the roof at first, which happens occasionally.
Instead, a 49-year-old man had a brush with death. He remains in the Royal Hobart Hospital in a critical but stable condition. It happened in front of 3 children aged 5, 9 and 17 who were also hospitalised but released later that night.
So I noticed they were sitting out on the fence with the ambulance and the police talking to them and reassuring them, and which was all good to hear.
Firefighters hope this near-deadly accident serves as a reminder around the dangers of using flammables, especially indoors.
The vapour can build up and that can result in a very volatile, flammable environment.
Damage was largely contained to the fireplace and the blaze has been deemed accidental. A frightening Sunday night trying to stay warm. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's new Health Minister has a mountain of work ahead of him, according to the Australian Medical Association. They've welcomed Guy Barnett's appointment, saying his focus should be securing more funding and boosting primary health care.
So we need the Health Minister to work with the Federal Health Minister and all our state federal politicians who reside in Tasmania to do something about helping the GP and the general practice patient rebate.
The new cabinet will be sworn in tomorrow. Tasmania topped ComSec's State of the States report for the 12th time in 14 editions. The state led the nation on 2 key markers of economic growth, with the Premier celebrating the result.
leading the nation on dwelling approvals, leading the nation on investment in equipment and infrastructure. That signals confidence in our economy.
It's rated last on relative population growth. The Premier has conceded more needs to be done to improve public transport after more than 100 bus services were axed today alone. Franklin MP David O'Byrne raising his concerns ahead of schools returning tomorrow, worried the cancellations will push people back into their cars.
For the government to continually ignore the views of the travelling public and the people's needs in Tasmania, what it means is that people won't turn up.
Metro and our Minister for Infrastructure, Michael Ferguson, of course, are aware of these challenges. We need to minimise the disruption.
Metro says customers are given 24 hours notice of any cancellations, also confirming school services are prioritised. A Hobart woman has sought comfort with a cup of tea after a shock $1.3 million Tats Lotto win. She held one of 4 Division 1 winning entry tickets in Saturday night's draw. The woman was unaware of the win until officials contacted her this morning, where she told them she was stunned and staggered over the win. The ticket was purchased online. Tourism at Mountfield National Park is set for a boost with a new accommodation provider now online. The retreat is a brainchild of Rachel and Greg Power, who own the award-winning Waterfalls Cafe. 4 self-contained units are now ready. Plans also include building more units, a conference centre and training hospitality workers.
Spark that inspiration to start a career in tourism and hospitality. We've been very lucky to have the opportunities that we have, and we want to share that with everybody.
It's a perfect opportunity for people to get out into the regions, spend more time in nature, spend more time and money in local Tasmanian businesses.
Funding for the project was secured through the state government's tourism loan scheme. From Broadway and West End to the theatres of Tasmania, local audiences will soon be delighted by a season of Winnie the Pooh. Joined by his best friends, Winnie will board the plane later this week, bringing a musical adaptation of the classic story to life.
Deep in the 100-acre wood.
Winnie the Pooh is loved by generations around the world, and now he's making his Tasmanian stage debut.
The truth of a Winnie the Pooh story is it's all about friendship and love and cooperation.
Hobart and Launceston audience will take a journey into the enchanted neighbourhood, where Winnie will be joined by the entire crew, with best friend Piglet also switching the Big Apple for the Apple Isle.
He's a little bit afraid and a little bit reluctant, but always willing to give things a go.
The musical promising a heartwarming trip down memory lane.
There's no audience member that doesn't come out either crying because they're reliving their nostalgia or really, really thinking that is the most happiest theatre show I've ever seen.
Even the actors themselves are being reintroduced to the iconic tales and characters.
Nostalgic for one. It's so much fun, and it's a delight to see how much we connect to different age groups.
It's hope Winnie won't get his head stuck in the honey pot when the curtain raises on Wednesday night.
Unless all the honey is gone.
Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
But if one of the world's great crooners is more your thing, then you'll be happy to know Harry Connick Jr will stop in Hobart as part of his Australian tour. The jazz sensation has confirmed he will play at My State Bank Arena just before Christmas. The American singer is known for his iconic hits It Had to Be You and Whisper Your Name, and has served as a judge on Australian Idol. The concert is on Sunday, December 10.
New Jack Jumper signing, Lachlan Barker says he's desperate to show he's worthy of a full-time NBL contract. Born in Somerset, Barker fills the last spot on the Jack Jumpers list as an injury replacement player, arriving today for the beginning of pre-season training.
Tassie born and bred, it's fitting Lachlan Barker's path to becoming a Jack Jumper begun up north. Discussions taking place when playing for Frankston against the Northwest Thunder.
Spoke to him a little bit when we came down and played, and just sort of sorted things out there and see if I was interested.
The 27-year-old signing as a nominated replacement player. He has NBL experience with both Melbourne and South East Melbourne over the past 2 seasons. Barker arriving in good form, averaging 13 points a game for the Blues in the last NBL 1 season.
Try and shoot the ball pretty well at a high percentage. A bit that I've worked on the last few years is get my teammates involved.
But we're just excited to have him as in a daily training environment. He's athletic, he's a good defender.
Also fitting Scott Roth's recruitment strategy of finding hungry and humble players.
Definitely have a little chip on the shoulder, just trying to prove that I am able to have a full contract.
His arrival also coinciding with day 1 of pre-season. Players put through their paces ahead of a training camp at Ulverston next month. The group playing down some early predictions about the playing list.
We're a talented group, but starts at day 1, we'll see. Proof will be in the pudding.
One thing is for sure, their newest recruit will be ready to go if he's needed.
Don't want any of the teammates or you guys injured and that sort of thing, but it's sort of next man up. So if there's opportunity, I'd love to take it.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
And to the Cripps TSL Player of the Year votes now after round 15. Bryce Alomes claims the 3 votes for Clarence in the win over Lauderdale. Lockie Clifford is again on the board after a day out against North Hobart. And Ben Simpson is charging ahead for North Launceston after winning the Northern Derby. Simpson is now tied on 15 alongside Sam Siggins. Lockie Clifford is on 14, followed by Alex Lee. And Stuart McSwain has run a qualifying time for the Paris Olympics in the Diamond League's 1500 metres. McSwain led the field by some distance partway through the race. He slowed after the bell and was nearly knocked off the course.
With him. Garcia 2, 1200, 249. The lap splits.
The crowd there. The King Islander crossed the line in 6th, setting a seasonal record. So another one we'll be watching very closely in Paris, Kim.
Today, Hobart and Devonport 16 degrees, Launceston and Burnie 15. St Helens, Friendly Beaches, Grove and Bushy Park all 16. Wynyard 15, the Islands, Low Head, Marai Island 14, 13 for Strawn, 9 the top for Lyweenie. Overcast low-level cloud over the west and parts of the south today, with a high-level cloud covering the east. A mid to high-level cloud band is over central Queensland. High-level cloud lies over Tasmania and low-level cloud is over coastal parts of Western Tasmania, SA and Victoria. Tomorrow, a strong high-pressure system centred over northwestern Victoria extends a ridge over the country. A low and associated cold front approaches the west coast of WA. 20 to 30 knots, although reaching up to 40 knots about the south. Westerly 15 to 25 knots elsewhere. The west and south can expect west to southwesterly swells up to 7 metres, tending up to 6 metres in the east. A gale warning has been issued for the south east coast and the west coast. There is also a strong wind warning for the lower east coast and central west coast. Tomorrow, partly cloudy conditions in Hobart, Adventure Bay and Tarraleah. Mostly sunny in Launceston and Bridport, 15's the top for Devonport. Burnie partly cloudy and 15 light showers for both Strawn and Marrawar. Mostly sunny skies to the east, St Helens 15, 16 for Swansea and 14 in Whitemark. Looking now to the 3-day forecast, Wednesday, showers about the West and Bass Strait Islands with possible light showers elsewhere. Patchy fog and frost expected in the northeast. Thursday, light showers about the north and west, and those fog and frost continues in the northeast also. Friday, showers mainly about the north and west, easing and contracting to the west in the afternoon. Otherwise, mainly fine. Looking now to the mainland tomorrow, showers for Perth, sunny in Darwin and in Brisbane, cloudy in Melbourne. And currently in Hobart, it's mostly clear with 12 degrees, also clear in Launceston and mostly clear in Devonport. Kim, that's all from me tonight in weather. Enjoy your evening.
And that is all your news for this Monday. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.